A pleasant good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to our many followers and television viewers of LNTV Liberia Live and ELBC 99.9 FM. I am Asiami Kone and I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So today is Thursday and today is October 16, 2025. Today's MICAT regular press briefing. Today's press briefing with John Levy addressed by Honorable Daniel Otesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, and Honorable Josiah F. Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency (CSA), and Honorable Augustus V. Goanue, Managing Director, Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority, Honorable Goanue, Director General, Liberia Intellectual Property Copyright Office, and Dr. Philderald Pratt, Secretary General, and Dr. Benito S. Andrew, Assistant Secretary General of Liberia College of Physicists and Surgery. So if you are just joining, I would like to say welcome. This is ELBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So Honorable Daniel Otesano will highlight national priorities and progress on development projects in infrastructure and public services, while Honorable Joekai will provide updates on the ongoing civil service reforms. Honorable Goanue will address the Liberia Electricity Corporation theft application and the regulatory review project. Honorable Kobo will discuss outcome from Africa Regional Intellectual Property Organization recent visit to President Josiah Senior, including Liberia's plans to enhance intellectual property protection and innovation. Dr. Pratt and Dr. Andrew will announce activities leading to the graduation of specialist doctors and emphasize the importance of medical education and training in improving healthcare delivery nationwide. So once again, if you are just joining, I would like to say welcome. This is ELBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So today is Thursday, October 16, and today is MICAT regular press briefing. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as we bring you full coverage press briefing today. So today MICAT Press Briefing engagement which brings together Honorable Daniel Otesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs. Here at MICAT, Honorable Josiah F. Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency (CSA), Honorable Augustus V. Goanue, Managing Director, Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority (LERA), Honorable Goanue, Director General, Liberia Intellectual Property and Copyright Office, Dr. Philderald Pratt, Secretary General, and Dr. Benito S. Andrew, Assistant Secretary General, Liberia College of Physicists and Surgery. Deputy Minister San will outline the government's ongoing efforts to implementing its national priority, focusing on infrastructure development, road connectivities, energy expansion, and public services delivery. He will emphasize the administration commitment to transparency and proactive public communication as a means to strengthen trust between the government and its citizens. His presentation will honor goals President Boakar's dedication to ensuring that development outcomes are inclusive and beneficiary to all Liberians. So if you are just joining, I would like to say welcome. This is LNTV Liberia Live and ELBC 99.9 FM and broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Don't go away as we bring you full coverage of MICAT Press Briefing. Keep following. So if you are just joining us, I would like to say welcome. This is ELBC 99.9 FM. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So to the MICAT Press Briefing will be addressed by Honorable Dana Otesano, the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here at MICAT, Honorable Josiah F. Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency (CSA), Honorable Augustus Goanue, Managing Director Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority, Honorable Garmin Kobwe, Director General Liberia Intellectual Property Copyright Office, Dr. Philderald Pratt, Secretary General Assistant Secretary General, Liberia College of Physicists and Surgeons, Honorable Sano, who outlined the government's ongoing efforts to implementing its national priority, focusing on infrastructure development, rural connectivities, energy expansion, and public service delivery. He will emphasize the administration commitment to transparency and proactive public communication as a means to strengthen trust between the government and its citizens. His presentation will honor goals President Boakar's dedication to ensuring that development outcomes are inclusive and beneficiary to all citizens of Liberia. Honorable Joekai will provide updates on the Civil Service Agency reforms program aimed at transforming the Liberia public sector into a professional, efficiency and merit-based workforce. He remarks will cover the digitalization of personal record payroll verification initiatives and the introduction of a modern human resource reform framework to improving accountability and productive in government situation. So if you are just joining us, I would like to say welcome. This is LNTV Liberia Live and the LBC 99.9 FM. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as we bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. Keep following.
Thank you.
So, Honorable Gamen Cowboy, Liberia Intellectual Property Copyright Office. Honorable Cowboy will report on the recent visit of the Africa Regional Intellectual Property Organization delegation to President Joseph Senior. Her presentation will emphasize Liberia's renewed focus on protecting intellectual property rights, fostering creativity and innovation, and strengthening partnerships with intellectual property in the World Intellectual Property Organization. She will also outline legal plan to modernize copyright administration and support Liberian creator, investor, and entrepreneurship. So, Dr. Philderald Pratt and Dr. Benita S. Andrew, Liberia College of Physicists and Surgery, representing Liberia College of Physicists and Surgery, Dr. Pratt and Dr. Andrew, will announce upcoming activities leading to the graduation of specialized medical doctor training on the college postgraduate medical programs. This remark focus on improving healthcare education, building local medical and expanding Liberia capacity to deliver quality and healthcare services across the nation. So once again, if you are just joining us, I would like to say welcome. This is LNTV Liberia Live and ELBC 99.9 FM. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as I bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. Keep following. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as we bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. So that's the arrival of Honorable Game Kobwe, or the Director General. So that's the arrival of the guest. That's the arrival of the guest. Honorable Augustus Goanue is pretty seated awaiting the conference. Honorable Augustus Goanue is the managing director of the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority. He's predeceased Honorable Game Conway, the Director General of Liberia Intellectual Property and Copyright Office. She's predeceased awaiting the conference. Dr. Philderald Pratt, the Secretary General, and Dr. Benita S. Andrew, she's the 16th Secretary General of the Liberia College of Physicists and Surgery. So that's Honorable Lawrence M. Family, the Director of Press and Public Affairs, here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as I bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. So today MICAT have a full house. That's Honorable Game Kobwe, Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property and Copyright Office. She's here with her principal deputies. She's predeceased Honorable Augustus Goanue, the Managing Director of Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority. So once again, if you are just joining us, I would like to say welcome. This is ELBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So to follow, please tune into ELBC 99.9 FM, www.elbcradio.com, Prime FM 105.5, Ablije Online Television in Green Basso County, Liberia Public Radio in USA, and KMTV. You can also join the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism regular Facebook page and others various community radio stations. So that's the Director for Press and Public Affairs, Honorable Lawrence and family. Honorable Lawrence and family, and he is the acting Assistant Minister for Information Services here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So that's the Director for Press and Public Affairs at the Civil Service Agency. His predecessor, Dr. Benito S. Andrew, the 16th Secretary General of the Liberia College of Physicists and Surgeons. Dr. Philderald E. Pratt, Secretary General of the Liberia College of Physicists and Surgeons. Honorable Augustus Goanue, Managing Director, Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority. They are predeceased, awaiting the arrival of Honorable Daniel Otesano and Honorable Johnny Tabgar to begin the press conference. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as we bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. So MICAT encourage you to stay informed by reading the New Liberia newspaper every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I keep following the LERA newscast daily for the latest update on government policy and programs. So once again, if you're just joining us, I would like to say welcome. This is CLBC 99.9 FM.
While we are waiting the arrival of the acting minister and the presiding officer, I'd like to encourage you to please put your phone on silent and then have it quiet. I repeat, while we are awaiting the acting minister and the presiding officer, I'd like to encourage you to please have it quiet. The word is rushing us. Thank you. We can also ask you how, if you are not in adherence to our policy here, we can do that in a very professional and polite manner. So, don't be confused. For one reason, I'm trying to point out that on Andrew, because you came here the other time in one portfolio. The portfolio has changed. In another portfolio where you will make the introduction. I don't want you to forward with one portfolio. The government is fast growing, so the people have to be around.
So that's the arrival of Honorable Daniel Otisano, Deputy Minister of Press and Public Affairs, Honorable Johnny Tagbar, Assistant Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, and Honorable Josiah F. Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency. They have just arrived in the hall. Yeah, hello, Chief. Honorable Daniel Otisano, Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Honorable Johnny Tagbar, Deputy for Administration at Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Honorable Josiah F. Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency. Honorable Augustus Goanue, Honorable Philderald and Dr. Andrew. So stick and still or don't to go away as we bring the full coverage of MICAT Press Briefing. Keep following.
As I said, whenever you are coming in the Ministry of Information, there will always be a change. And so, for our television viewers, radio listeners, our mothers and sisters in the diaspora that follow us on social media, we'd like to kindly welcome you here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism regular press briefing via the social media. Are joining the level of broadcasting systems and Pratt FM that is viewing us. I'd like to say thank you for welcoming me. The Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, while he's away, and today he'll be attending the AJA conference that opened, the Deputy Minister of Administration, and Johnny Tagbar is the Acting Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. We have the presiding officer, the Deputy Minister of Press and Public Affairs, the Deputy Spokesperson of the government, who will preside over today's press briefing. Minister Sano will come from the national podium, speak to you on national issues of development, progress by the government, after which we will officially introduce to you our guest, Minister Sano.
Let me stand on the existing protocols. Community radio stations across the country that are relaying distribution of the MICAT Press Briefing, Pratt FM. We want to appreciate all of you for availing us the opportunity live on your various platforms. Today is the 16th day of October, the year 2025. And as a ministry, we are making progress along the way. As a government, we can proudly boast of huge level of transformation in critical sectors of the economy. When we look at the expansion, unprecedented expansion of the electricity to leeward counties of the country, when you look at the job that LERA is doing, when you look at the work that the Ministry of Public Works is doing, then you can't help but just to be appreciative to the government and supportive for all the good things that are happening. So today, we will throw a bit of light on some issues. We'll have some distinguished ladies and gentlemen in our midst. We have 4 entities in attendance. Of course, the Honorable Josiah Joekai, Director General of the Civil Service Agency, is here. He's going to speak on key milestones that have been accomplished as far as reform in the civil service is concerned. And we'll talk about the electricity sector, which has been regulated by the Liberia Regulatory Authority. Honorable Goanue is here. You're welcome. They have a new tariff coming up, and MICAT is a place where the Liberian people get first-hand information about the government. And for some of you who don't know what tariff is, the price you pay for a kilowatt of current. So the entity that regulates the electricity sector is the LERA, and we are happy to have Mr. Goanue. Also in attendance is Madam Goanue. She's come to share with us outcomes from the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization recent visit they had with President Josiah, including Liberia's plan to enhance intellectual property protection and innovation. And then last but not least, we have Dr. Pratt and Dr. Anne. They come from the Liberia College of Physicians and Surgeons. They will be announcing activities leading to the graduation of specialized medical doctors. They will also emphasize the importance of medical education and training in providing healthcare delivery. So we'll have a loaded platform today. I'm not going to be long. Let me say welcome to all of you. It's good that we have an institution that is committed, dedicated to training professionals in the medical sector, specialized professionals. We will talk about it. We are following very closely, and the government of Liberia signed another agreement for the solar plant in Shopping. The Minister of Finance and Development Planning and the Managing Director of the Liberia Electricity Corporation on yesterday signed an additional agreement with SCATEC in Washington, D.C. to conduct a brand new 23.7 megawatt solar PV plant with 10 megawatts battery storage. The project is set to be completed within the next 64 weeks and marks another significant step towards a greener and more sustainable future for Liberia. The plant will be located at the LEC shopping site in Monrovia on the Route Street Highway. The installation will immediately strengthen our dry season generation capacity and reduce dependence on imports and anchor Liberia's transition towards clean, reliable, and affordable power. The LEC has also light up some very strategic locations in Riverside County and Santo, Grand Crew as well, Bagleyville, Guillottown, Bagleyville, Grand Crew, Guillottown, and Yapatown in Riverside County have been electrified. We want to say many thanks to the management of the Liberia Electricity Corporation, the Rural Renewable Energy Agency, and of course the LERA. All of these expansion works are geared towards delivering basic social services to the doorstep of our citizens. We cannot have a situation where everything is just centralized in Monrovia. Citizens who reside outside of Monrovia deserve better life. And the government has now taken the decision to decentralize these activities, these basic social services. Roads have been constructed. Pipeline water being expanded to the rural areas, and now we have electricity. It's a good thing. With all these things happening, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Minister Augustus is leading a high-level government of Liberia's delegation to the 2025 annual meeting of the IMF and World Bank, which is being hosted in Washington, D.C., the United States, from October 13 to the 18th. The delegation has had meetings with development partners, financial institutions, and multilateral organizations to strengthen Liberia's economic recovery and sustainable development on the arrest agenda for inclusive development. Key focus areas for the meeting includes mobilizing infrastructure and energy financing, advancing education, health, and digital transformation projects, strengthening institutional reforms and public sector governance, and of course, enhancing partnership for job creation and inclusive growth. Members of the delegation include Ministers of Health, Mines and Energy, Public Works, Governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, the Deputy Minister of Education, and the Director General of the National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority. "17 Liberian nurses have left the country for Kenya for us to get specialized training in various programs. The training will take place at the National Hospital of Nursing in Nairobi, Kenya. The training program is sponsored by the Ministry of Health through the World Bank funded Institutional Foundation for Improved Services for Health, FITCH, projects in the health security project. The 17 nurses selected from public health facilities across the country will pursue advanced study in critical areas of health, including oncology, nursing, trauma and emergency nursing, critical care nursing, neonatal nursing, among others. Upon completion of their studies, the nurses are expected to return home and contribute to the enhancement of specialized healthcare services, further supporting the Ministry of Health ongoing efforts to ensure access to quality and resilient healthcare for all Nigerian citizens. Lastly, before I invite the Director General of the CSA to the podium, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education train peer educators to strengthen school-based substance use prevention in Nigeria. The Mental Health Unit of the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Miami County Health Team and the Ministry of Education, has successfully conducted a school-based substance use prevention peer education training for students of the Lango Lipe High School and the Muslim Training Institute in Kakati. The initiative aims to establish vibrant school health clubs by identifying and training students to serve as peer educators. Those trained students will help raise awareness, share accurate information, and support their peers in making healthy and informed choices. The peer education program is part of ongoing school-based prevention activities jointly implemented by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education to promote healthier and safer school environments. The DEA has also announced that they are preparing to commence compulsory testing at various schools across the country. This is a good step, and we'll be following to bring you further details of that initiative as it unfolds. I would not want to stop here now, and because we have a full house, so we can't take too much time. The Director General of the Civil Service to speak. Will be followed by the LERA and the intellectual property office to speak, and then we'll take the medical people, and then we'll entertain questions from all of you. Mr. DG, you are welcome.
Thank you, Minister. Yeah. Mr. Acting Minister and the entire leadership of the Ministry of Information, can I safely say just the Ministry of Information? Culture and tourism gone already, right? It's still a transition, still ongoing. And as a matter of fact, the CSA is coming to do a comprehensive vetting of the employees in the Department of Culture and Tourism to make sure that those who are qualified to go to tourism go, and those who are not qualified can make it. As to whether or not they're going to stay here based on their competency, their background, and literature. But it's really good to be here, Honorable Minister, your team, my distinguished colleagues, government officials, respectfully recognize you. Specifically, I'm happy to see the medical team here, and this was not part of my presentation, but let me indicate that the Civil Service Agency is writing the management of JFK and writing you and all the institutions concerned for us to meet and make a decision on how you can create timelines so that foreign doctors who we are treating as consultants, that are doing very well for our people, our country, in the healthcare sector. But it is now time that we ensure there's a fixed timeline so that they can, tell us goodbye And specialized Liberians who have been trained in different areas can transition to those jobs, because we need Liberians to do those jobs. And we cannot have foreign doctors here perpetually. So we'll be inviting you very shortly along with JFK to make that decision. Because we have now professional Liberian doctors, healthcare professionals, practitioners across the globe, and here in Liberia, they need to benefit from those opportunities, not foreigners. So I'm happy to see you, and I just wanted to let you know that officially we're going to be inviting you to that meeting. Other special guests, Mr. Sarah, see Mr. Patrick, and I see the other senior officials from the Civil Service Agency, special guests in the audience, our distinguished media, the folk estate, the people who are our traditional partner in the governance process. I recognize you and the job that you do, and I want to congratulate you for that. I want to announce to some of the folks, many people who have smartphones, they automatically become journalists. I want to remind them, self-start journalists, and some of the analysts, the table analysts, the village analysts, who are always throwing numbers out there on empirical basis that the Civil Service Agency has not moved yet. We are still at the ministerial complex. And to support your endeavor, because it's a collective effort, it's just fair enough you start by, you come to us, so that we can cross-check some of the information we have before you put it out there. Because it hurts our country more when we put our information that doesn't reflect the reality of our governance processes. And also the Civil Service Agency has one of the most interactive and best websites. Everything we do, what we're doing here is going to be on in the next 1 hour after this. We have a virtual agent who tells you everything about CSA. It's right below our website. You only need to click on it and ask any question about the civil service. That virtual agent will provide you all the answers, A to Z. So there's no reason to speculate, to say, oh, according to investigation, when there's no investigation. According to information, when actually you don't have any information. So you can even take your time if you don't want to talk to anybody at CSA, just go to our website and ask our virtual agent, what's the total number of employees in the civil service? Who is the director general? What is the testing process? The virtual agent will give you all the information. It's so easy, we're making it easy for you. Also, I want to clarify that we can have associations in the different entities. Civil Servant Association, in fact, we have a broader National Civil Servant Association, and that is in keeping with your right under the Constitution to assemble, to associate. But in the civil service, unlike the private sector, we don't have unions. We don't unionize in the civil service until that can be legislated. For now, we don't do it. And associations have to engage with their leadership and the civil service professionally. If you do that against your own established regulations and CSA regulations, then you have yourself to blame. So the Ministry of Information, I'm always here. I'd like to clarify this. The last time I was here about a few months ago, I think 2.5 or 3, you asked a question about the top-up for employees. We're not doing that across, but we check with your leadership and you have some money in your compensation, and the leadership generously send a request to the CSA in few critical areas. Please don't go choking and say they're tapping your salary for everybody. No, in critical areas, in keeping with the pay grade, that is being done. And I can assure you that by November, we can realize that those who have done replacements have come in the system, but now you're on the payroll. The cutoff point is the end of October, so that you are on by November. I'm giving you my word. So we will try to do that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot happening in terms of reforms in the civil service. Great reforms in the civil service that are helping to strengthen and improve governance in our country. On October 22nd, the Civil Service Agency will be, in fact, His Excellency the President will be launching the legal power of attorney, they call LPA. The automated system will now have an automated platform that will be available on your computer, will be available on your phones. Going to be an application. The President of this country will be launching that grand initiative. Why is this significant? Prior to the war, That was a symbol of empowerment. My late dad benefited from LPA. In fact, at that time, many people used to call it like Liberia Pay After. That's what most people knew, but it's actually the legal power of attorney. And it was very few people who had that opportunity. But it collapsed during the war. And after the war, not much has been done to reactivate it. So the Civil Service Agency has now developed a digitized modern LPA system. And that system is going to be launched by His Excellency on October 22nd, the ballroom of the ministerial complex. Unlike the bureaucratic barriers that civil servants have, you got to go to the store and collect pro forma, go to your human resource director, get approval, review, then come to CSA and get approval. It's no longer going to be. This new system, the provider is going to go along with CSA from entity to enroll the employees into the system biometric, the true fingerprint. And then we will be, in fact, we already have procured through the provider, providing point of sale, POS, customized LPA POS machines in all the stores. You don't have to go for pro forma anymore. You will just be giving credit through your system, your account. And once you go to the store, you can walk in the store, in any LPA approved store with confidence and just take. I want 10 wheelbarrows, I want shovel, I want 20 bags of cement, I want this. And at the end of the day, you just use your fingerprint to verify that you are actually a legitimate employee. You use your fingerprint, and it shows, it verifies you. You just turn your back and go. No down payment, no pro forma invoice, nothing. That amount will be amortized over a 6-month period. That's why we say take plenty and pay small. You will pay that amount over 6 months. Many of our people, including my dad, in the past, they used LPA to build their homes, to get television, household items. It has come back. That has come back big time. It's going to be available. We got so many vendors that are signing up to the system, to the platform. So whether you're going to be in Bonjaman, you're in Harper, you're in Zwedru, once the stores are there, you will just go ahead. We want to make sure the POS machines are in all those stores, and you can take it. So this revolution has come. It's a reality. His Excellency, the President, is going to be launching it on October 22nd. So when we took over in March of 2024, His Excellency the President stood in this room and announced to all of you that at the end of the Employment Status Regularization Project, there will be improved wage salaries for legitimate civil servants. The President lived up to that commitment. As I speak to you, in addition to what the Minister of Finance told you, there is no civil servant on a payroll that is taking less than $150. Now I will clarify to you. Some people, when they listed employees' account, salary account, with less than $150. That was for some institutions that had internal payroll and the CSA payroll. Meaning, if they were taking $100 on the internal payroll and taking $150 on the CSA payroll, they were even making more than $150. But the naysayers only decided to publish the less amount of $100 and say people are still taking less than $100. No, nobody is. And I got news for you. The Civil Service Agency is working with those institutions to collapse all those payrolls. According to the 2019 Standardization and Remuneration Act, there should be one payroll system that is managed by the Civil Service Agency. An example is the judiciary. We conducted the personnel verification, credential verification at the judiciary. We are working with the Chief Justice and his team, and they have agreed for us to collapse the payrolls into one payroll, a single payroll. At the Monrovia City Corporation, the mayor and his team are very cooperative. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, we did a letter, the CSA, to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance is working with them collaboratively so that we can collapse the Monrovia City Corporation payroll, internal payroll, and the CSA payroll into one payroll system. So all these reforms are happening to bring dignity and integrity to the civil service. and to make sure that there is prudent public finance management. What have we done under that process because of the President's initiative? More than 23,000 essential workers across the health, education, security, and agriculture sectors receive salary top-up. Many of the people who are making 150, some of them making 225 now. People who are making 225, they are around 350. We have done that in keeping with pay grade and classification. We have done that because the money was made available in the 2025 budget. That is what we call deliberate and bold action by the government. We are also integrating long-serving volunteers, professionals, health workers, and teachers, and agriculturalists into the national payroll system. These are people who volunteer for years, sacrificially. We are all aware. All the different protest actions for the last 6-7 years, from healthcare workers, community healthcare workers. Community healthcare workers alone constituted more than 500. I remember in 2023, the former vice president stood at the ballroom and promised that they were going to put all of them on the payroll. That did not happen until we took over. Today I can tell you proudly that this government has processed the first 300 of the 500, and they are going on the payroll. The community health workers. The volunteer health workers, a significant amount, 760, already placed on the payroll. Additional 800 that we are concluding processing. All the pens have been signed. I am going to do the metrics to the Ministry of Finance for the creation of the allotment for them to be on the payroll. Now we can boast that we are having professional practitioners in clinics, in hospitals, in health centers. People who did that before through sacrificial means. They are now fast becoming legitimate and genuine employees of the government providing services. We have also brought on teachers. We are bringing on teachers. And I want to thank the Minister of Education for the collaboration. The Ministry of Finance, the Minister Gaffney. So it's a multi-sectoral approach. We received the 2,000 personnel action notices after vetting them across the country. We immediately processed 458 and submitted to the Ministry of Finance, for which they are creating allotment. The remaining 1,005 plus, yesterday we completed the signing of all those pains after painstakingly evaluating them. Those pains are going to the Ministry of Finance. And I can tell you, by end of November, we're going to have all those people on the payroll. So the CSA, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Ministry of Education. Before we talk about, we announced here that the Board of Review for the Civil Service was never reconstituted in 18 years. So it was not just about the last administration, in 18 years. The President moved quickly to constitute the board. The board is responsible for reviewing cases that are heard by the hearing team. We have received a total of 214 cases. Interesting. Dismissals, suspensions. Since we took over, that's the total so far. We've been able to resolve 49. And we have reinstated 71 employees. Reinstated. That means a lot. We have reinstated. Meaning that they were arbitrarily, wrongly dismissed, wrongly suspended. We put them back to their job through the legal means, established process. This speaks a lot. The arbitrary suspensions and dismissals were significantly reduced over the period up to now. And you know what that means? It is boosting workforce confidence, workforce morale, and it is giving them job security. Because you cannot just arbitrarily dismiss people or suspend them based on how you feel, what you think. You have to follow established rules. To also support the strengthening of our workforce, we have announced to you and even demonstrated on our screen, and thanks to the Ministry of Information, the National Civil Service Center. That center is one of the best. One of the best. In fact, we had a presidential delegation from Sierra Leone here They visited with the CSA, the entire team. We took them on a guided tour. That system is going to be mirrored. Since we went live July 28th, we have had more than 300 people taking the test. Every successful candidate's name is published by the CSA so that entities can make sure that when they are hiring, those people are prioritized because at least they have demonstrated certain basic understanding of the job requirements. And that is important. So that we are not hiring people based on your name, but we are doing it based on competence. So the center, the testing system is merit-based, computerized. So all you have to do is register online for the test or register in person at the CSA. You get your confirmation. The confirmation tells you everything, the day of your test, the room of your test, your cubicle, and everything. You go and put your code in. We got a bank of almost 7,000 questions. If you are taking tests for director position, the system will automatically generate 50 questions aligned with the position, and you take the test in 1 hour, 30 minutes. Once you are done, instantly your results go to your email. If you fail, you get your failing results. If you pass, you get your passing results. And if you pass, your certificate signed by the head of testing approved by the Director General automatically go to your email. This is a merit-based system that we have introduced that was unveiled officially by the Vice President, the Honorable Jeremiah Farko, officially on behalf of the government. Legislative reform. Our president is dynamic. Everything he says, he does it. When he was being inaugurated, he reminded the legislature that so many years since the Civil Service Commission was established by Article 89 of the 1986 Constitution, that commission has now been realized because the legislature, in keeping with the provision, successive legislatures, and you know they always have 50 first, 50 seconds, so somebody shouldn't say, how come Joekai is saying legislatures? Well, we don't have one. So successive legislatures, civics, have not enacted laws to govern or for the operationalization of the Civil Service Commission as required by law. And because of that, the absence of that statute, the 1973 Act is in full force. That's the act that governs the Civil Service Agency until this bill that has been submitted to the legislature by His Excellency the President can be passed and signed into law by the President. When that happens, that is going to ensure greater fairness and access to employment opportunity, strengthen the authority and independence of the Civil Service Commission as that regulatory body handling all grievance, complaints, and civil service matters in the country, and professional development of civil servants. So this is not just an administrative reform. It is about restoring trust, fairness, and accountability in government employment. So we talk about the current payroll integration. We talk about the education sector. We talk about the health sector. And again, I'm glad our health people here, so they get to know that many doctors have been added, the intern doctors, you are aware. We put them on the payroll, most about 39 of them. And those were people who got tired protesting and felt sorry always that they took all the time to get educated and were protesting to get on their own government payroll. But I can tell you that President Waka means business. We put those people on the payroll. The pharmacists, you are aware, for the 4 of them, we put them on the payroll. They're not protesting anymore. We had 592, the healthcare volunteers. I talked about them earlier. That was the first one. So a total of 760 I talked about. And then the 800 that we are about to put on, 300 of them community health workers, and then 500 of them a mixture of all volunteers. So this, for me, is powerful, very powerful. in terms of what has been done in the shortest period of time, in less than 2 years. But I will tell you this, the Monrovia Consolidated School System, and I'm sure that question was going to come. When student protesters few months ago, because their teachers were not in the classroom, the Minister of Education, the Minister of Finance, and the Director General of the CSA immediately convened a virtual meeting, emergency meeting, and a decision was made for the Civil Service Agency to move in and do a comprehensive evaluation to establish the legitimacy of the volunteer teachers, identify the legit ones, and also verify employees and their credentials. The CSA moved in and did that comprehensive work. Of the 604 volunteer teachers listing that was given to the CSA after our intervention, we were able to verify 459 volunteer teachers. The 138 that automatically dropped. Some of them were already employed with other institutions because we ran the list through our payroll, and it was able to identify some of them that were already employed in different places, but also lying under the guise of being volunteer teachers. Those ones we didn't waste time. We just cleared those ones out. That was very easy for us. So the 459 that we verified, the Ministry of Finance has done well by creating allotment for 208 of them. Meaning that the 208, we are currently working with the MCSS for us to process their payments and to have them placed on the payroll. I want to appeal in this public manner to those volunteer teachers. We understand your situation. We know how long you've been volunteering, but you are at the end. And I'm assuring you that the CSA is doing everything, even if you are not on the payroll for October. But November is not going to pass. We are going to make sure the month of October we can complete the process, and we will work with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. I know there's a tight fiscal space, but the ministry is already always looking for ways to address these critical issues, to make sure that we can post you critical teachers. So we want you to stay in the classroom, stay with our children, and continue to do the teaching as you've been doing it until we can push you on the payroll. And you know we can do it because we are doing it across the government, bringing essential workers on. And I would say that the government has done its best to keep the workforce at a little over 60,000. When we took over, it was 67,746. We cleaned up, we came to 60,900. Now it has gone up a little bit, it's shifting between 62 to 63,000, and there's a significant reason for that. Because we're bringing on long-serving volunteers. I want everybody to understand that. The number will not be going down when we are bringing critical workers on the payroll. The number will be going up. My bold math did not tell me that when you add, number will go down. It told me that when you add, number will go up. Yes. So the number is going up, but you should give credit to this government that we have not moved the workforce to 80,000. To 90,000. By now there's chaos. By now we don't even have money to pay workers. It is professionally being managed. And we will continue to do that. That is why we don't owe civil servants. That is why we are current with payment. Civil servants receive their pay on time. On time. And we will continue to improve the process and provide more opportunities to civil servants, just as we're doing with LPA, with 3%, 50%, 3% interest rate on 50% salary advance. We never had that before. To make sure you always have money in your pocket, so we increase your purchasing power and we keep money flowing in our economy to solve liquidation issues and to make sure that our economy is up and running in a viable way. So I just want to assure you that we are on course with the workforce. We are on course with strengthening our public service governance, and Liberia has been spotlighted. These models I'm sharing with you, I am now sharing them with ECOWAS, sharing them with the continent, sharing them with the Caribbean. Liberia's model of integrating healthcare workers in the workforce is the premier model right now. I was just in Addis Ababa, invited by the Ministry of Health of Addis Ababa by the African Union to go and present Liberia's model, how we are doing it. And I had to tell them we are doing it deliberately. Our government is taking the initiative. There's nothing politics about it. No rhetoric. We are putting the money in the budget and we are bringing them on board. We are cleaning up and we are using part of the money to reinvest so that we bring these critical workers on the payroll and strengthen the efficiency of government to deliver. So today I want to thank all of you. The civil service is well on course. And if there are issues, I will advise that you come to the EJS if you are in country. That's where we are. We have not moved yet. If you live out of the country, go to our website. You will interact with our virtual agent if you are a lazy reader. You will interact with our virtual agent who will provide you all the answers to your questions and your inquiries. Mr. Minister, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Minister, for providing the platform. I think time is fast spent, so I will just stand with the protocol. My name is Augustus B1 from the Liberia Legislative Regulatory Commission, LERC. Please don't confuse it with LEC. The difference is the R, please. I'm here today for a specific topic. Most of the time when we come, you can have a lot of questions on service-related issues and everything, but I want you to please bear with me because we want to stick to the point and then be very specific and targeted today. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, the Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, and our management, I'd like to thank the Ministry of Information for this platform. And we are here to inform you that the Commission has received official application from LEC for a new multi-year tariff. Application is a proposal. And when we say multi-year, according to law, the 2015 Legislative Law of Liberia gave the Commission the authority to approve or set tariff. And so, consistent with that, we came up with regulations, what we call the multi-year tariff methodology, which will be the basis for calculating your tariff. When we say tariff, we mean that the price you pay for the consumption of electricity, the pricing. And what you pay for is the energy you consume, as the minister said earlier. The amount of kilowatt you consume per hour, what a kilowatt hour, what you pay for. So the last tariff took effect 2022, and it goes for 3 years according to our tariff regulation in the law. So the first set of tariff expired. If you follow, historically, we started with one tariff in the country. In fact, when the small light today, big light tomorrow slogan started in 2006, and we had a small diesel power plant at Bushrock, at Crutown. We had a tariff, which started with a tariff of 60 cents per kilowatt hour. And it started to decrease gradually to 59, 54, 50, then 49, then 39, then 35. So when the LERC took over, it was around 35 cents per kilowatt hour, and we went through this rigorous process where we were able to disaggregate the tariff from residential to non-residential, and then medium voltage and social tariff. Social tariff refers to low-income, lifeline tariff of those who don't consume much. So the LERC, in this public manner, want to inform the public that the LEC, which is the Liberia Electricity Corporation, has applied for new multi-year electricity tariffs for the Commission's approval. LEC submitted its tariff application on September 30th, 2025. That's about 2 weeks ago. Upon LEC submission, the Commission assessed the application and requested additional information. That's by law. Within 5 days, if you review the application and everything, you look at it, if there's anything missing, you request them. And LEC complied, they submitted everything that was missing, and led to the completeness. And we have notified LEC that the application is complete. So LEC, after that, the tariff application process is also in line with the law, section 8.1, subsection 2 of the 2015 LERA law, just as the DG said. Everything we do here is online. Everything. If you go to the LERA website, it's interactive, and then you can get even the notice, everything from there. And then it states that a licensee may not charge a customer any other tariff other than that determined or approved by the regulator. So the new tariffs, which when approved by the Commission, will cover the period of 3 years, that's January 1, 2026, up to December 31st, 2028. That will call a multi-year tariff, even though there's room for the tariff review in terms of issues, if there's any economic shift, there's any problem in terms of different things, in terms of inflation and everything, there's time to review. And so we receive the application. The tariff process. To ensure transparency and public participation, the Commission will organize a series of public hearings, stakeholder engagements, and outreach activities. That's what the law says. We should be transparent and public, because whatever you charge the public, it affects the consumer. So they must have a say in the whole process. So now that we have notified LEC that the application is complete, it doesn't mean that's a tariff, no. We, as the regulator, through our economic regulation department, we have a financial model, we have all our different experts. They will now run a model using everything. I'm not an economist per se, but for instance, let's say for instance, you want to buy, you go to the gas station and buy your gas on the pump. That's not there. It goes through from the importer, all the way from the imports, it goes through the ports, you got to clear everything, so all the costs before you can get your final charge, so called end user tariff. So it goes from generation to transmission to distribution and everything, and all the assets, all the different things that goes into the production. Electricity is a service, but it's also a product. Even though you don't see it, that's why we have the meter. And then that's why you pay for. And so our team will go through that. So we have to also inform the public. So if you check our website or you check the paper, from this morning you realize that we have now published what we call notice of pendency. We call it public notice of pendency. It means that there is an application, a proposal in the possession of the LERC, and it is pending, and the public can now come and comment. If you read the proposal and everything and go through the entire process, you can now come up at the public hearing, which has been arranged. We're going to do it in Pony, we're going to do it in Cape Town, we're going to do it in Monrovia, Kakata, and now, as the minister said, LEC through the identification component of the CLSG, from Niba all the way to Bassa and through up to Monserrato, they have provided electricity to villages and towns within 3 kilometers of the CLSG line, both sides, left and right. So LEC is now extending there, and then the means will be going to Bassa, where even the RRA is building the transmission line, the distribution pipe on there, and then River says, Yapatan, and the compound one in Bassa, because we want to make sure that the public is well informed about the entire process, and they know exactly what's going, because whatever LEC has proposed should be taken to the public, and then after the process, before we can determine the final tariff, where we can approve what they submitted, or will remain as it is, the current tariff, or it will come down further, because conditions have changed over the past 3 years. So that's the reason why we are going to. So to allow the public forum that we are having, the public hearing we are planning everything, will allow the customers, the policy makers, just as we are here, the ministers of different groups, policy makers, even the legislature, they have the energy committee, the civil society organizations, and other stakeholders to provide input before a final decision is made by the commission. That's what the law says. It is consistent with the law. And as I said, LEC operation now covers Monserrado County, Monserrado. They are in Grand Cape Mount. They are in Bomi. They are in Riverses now as we speak. They are in Grand Bassa and Mangibi counties. So it means we'll be going up to Kakata to do everything. So that's why we are here today, to inform the public so that there will be no misconception. If you go online, our website or LEC website, or in the newspaper you see anything, just read and understand so that when we begin these public hearings, you don't have to necessarily, if you don't have the time to go to the public hearing, you can do a note, your inquiry you can write and submit to the commission. Because this is a process that is more empirical and scientific. We are not just going to be arbitrary and say, well, let's give a tariff of this amount. No. It takes in a lot of inputs. We have a lot of inputs, economic factors, economic indicators that our team uses to ensure that we verify the proposal or the application given by LEC so that we can validate, and when this approval is done, it will be announced in May, December, so that the new tariff can take effect by January 1, 2026. So that's the reason why we do that. I know you want to say, but what is in this proposal? I can tell you because it's already public information now. As I said, we have broken the tariff down into different categories. And the first one is the social tariff, which applies to people of low income, people whose consumption, not using air conditioner, they just need electricity to maybe charge their phone, or put on a little small X bar of fridge, or watch TV and everything. For the social tariff, and their consumption is very low. The tariff that we had in the old regime, and the existing tariff, it's about, no, we're not social. Yeah, you're not lifeline. For a lifeline tariff, it's lifeline, you're not there. So the tariff was 15 cents per kilowatt hour. And what happened is LEC proposal brought it down to 13 cents per kilowatt hour. That's a reduction of about 13.3%, which is good for our low-income people. Then we had a residential prepaid. There's no fixed charge. Residential prepaid. It was 24 cents per kilowatt hour. There's no change in that according to the application. They are proposing the same 24 cents per kilowatt hour, which is 0% increase. Non-residential. And there's a fixed charge. I think there was a confusion sometimes, but we came and clarify everything here. And the fixed charge is $2.48 per kilowatt hour. I mean per month. It's not kilowatt hour, but per month. It's a fixed charge that you pay. Every purchase you do, once it's the first purchase for the month, you make that payment. And then we have residential postpaid. Postpaid, let me be a little bit simple. Because you are worried, right? Postpaid is one of the most difficult aspects because you consume the power and then you are billed. When you are billed, then you pay later on. So they have a fixed charge of $4.47 and the tariff there is about the same 24 cents per kilowatt hour. And it didn't change, it's the same. Non-residential. It was 22 cents per kilowatt hour. So LEC is proposing 24 cents per kilowatt hour with a little change of 9%. Then we have, that's non-residential prepaid. Postpaid. You know postpaid is the crediting, right? You know when you credit, you get interest? Yes. Why don't you do your prepaid? Postpaid. Non-residential postpaid. It was 22, now it's the same, it went up to 24 cents per kilowatt hour, 9%. Now we got medium voltage. Medium voltage is where you have those big companies. Like for instance, Cemento, Certificate Steel Factory, you put, or maybe LPRC, or maybe there, so many big companies. So you don't use small meters, you just use the medium voltage line, like the 33 kV, and just put them with big meter. And then they were paying 19 cents per kilowatt hour. Now the proposal now is 20 cents per kilowatt hour. And the fixed charge remains the same. So nothing changed with the fixed charge. So we have now received this proposal. We have received the application and everything. Just as we received the previous one, where they had 28 cents, 29 cents, and went through everything, it came down to 24 cents. So we're going to take our time now. Our team will review two different public hearings. As we speak now, the team is working on it, round the clock, to look at all the information they use, some of the indicators, and what is the basis for this new tariff. If the commission sees it fit, the final decision will tell us the final tariff. So I can't say and tell you that the commission has approved or has accepted this. The final decision will be made in December, after public hearing this month and next month, because it's going to take time for us to go around and for us to be able to seek inputs, get feedback from different people, the service-related issues and everything, the customers. We all here are customers. Even as a regulator, I'm a customer of LEC because I'm connected with meter. So that's what we'll be doing, and we have come here today to inform the public officially with our press release out officially, so that you can be prepared. If you have any question, you ask us to go. We don't want speculation and say, oh, LEC, oh, there's a new tariff. No, it's a proposal, and we, as the regulator, will now use the law and all the tools available to us to assess the proposal and review to see whether it is acceptable or whether it can be changed or modified for it to be approved by our board of commissioners and then be gazetted, and then it can now be published to take effect in 2026 January. So far, okay. I think I can stop here for now.
Yeah. So, is there any more questions?
Yeah.
So let me stand on the system protocol because of time. And the director for CSS is not here, but I want to take this time to applaud him. I did my pen in less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. It's the very first time, you know. And everybody are like, how you manage? I said, sometimes we as leaders just need to take a step. And I took a step, he knows about that. So I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Information for giving us this platform to come and tell our people what we are doing for our country. I want to recognize the health sector. Thank you for the service. And the regulatory agency. I know everywhere now you're seeing lights. You guys are doing an amazing job. To the media, you guys are our friends. We are working for you people. I want to say thank you for the service you render to us, because you are even connected to our agency. So I want to recognize everybody and I want to say thank you. So today in our briefing, we had a high-level delegation from the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, ARIPO. Benjamin Tobiasi came with his delegation, 4 persons. And interestingly, the welcoming from the airport to our country shows that Liberia is a special country. Because he can't stop talking about the welcoming. The culture too was there, the culture ambassador was there, so it was so amazing. While he being here, he came for 2 things. Signing on to the Arusha Protocol. I know people will say, but what is he talking about? The Arusha Protocol has to do with the plant bill of rights. Intellectual property is in all of the different sectors. So now we are to the agricultural people. The plant bill of rights, the Arusha Protocol, once it's ratified by Liberia, it will enable our people, the farmers, the breeders, to have their rights. In other countries, the right is protected for like 20 years. Some country is 25 years. But our country is there to ratify the treaty, and that's why he visited His Excellency office, the President of the Republic of Liberia, that has agriculture at heart. And he knows the importance of Arusha Protocol. So he gave the commitment to the Director General from the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization that Liberia will ratify the treaty. Because we want for our climate. We got climate change right now. You coming up with your seeds that will not be able to resist climate. It will not be good for our country. So once we sign on to the treaty, we will be able to come up with a seed that will be climate resistant. So that tomorrow, even when you go into Ghana, Nigeria, you can take a seed from there to bring it to your country. And somebody from Ghana will be able to come to your country and buy the seeds from there and carry. It's a benefit to our country. And for food security. So I was looking for planting suckers, but then I was looking for 3 years. Because now the world is moving, I don't want to plant planting that will give me 1 year. And this is the treaty or the protocol that will provide us that. They are producing the different varieties of plant. And Liberia is no exception. So he's here, he will be leaving this afternoon. He came, we visited the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in our meeting. We hired the agricultural ministry because we are working with different sectors. This is about agriculture. We can have discussion from our boss, from the regional office, without having our agricultural ministry involved. And they were very, very cooperative. We didn't stop there, we went to the parliament. We had the Honorable House, the Speaker sent a team that was very instrumental. In fact, they welcomed the treaties. This treaty is very important to our country because agriculture, we have the water, we have the climate, we have the soil. So if we don't sign and ratify these treaties, we are just doing the olden days farming. We will not have the new breed of seeds. And the second thing he came for is, the treaty is called the Kampala Protocol. The Kampala Protocol has to do with voluntary registration on copyright. We want for our people who are creating content to be able to benefit, content creators. The musician, but we have not ratified this treaty. When I go on Facebook, in fact, 2-3 times I've been following one of the TikTok, 2 other persons, they were like, the president is doing well, but we want for him to put a measure so that our content can be monitored. How do we do it? We have to ratify this treaty, the Kampala Protocol. The Kampala Protocol is there for it to be able to pay you to register your work. It's voluntary. Under the Banjul Protocol, once you come up with your copyright work, it's automatic protection. But we as Intellectual Property Office, I don't know whether that content is created by you or him. So you have to come to the office and provide all those basic information so we have in our database. So their visit in the country is the first time in the history for a Director General from the regional office to come and have conversation with the President office, the Parliament, and other stakeholders. It's a plus for our government because it provides the enabling environment for us to be able to dialogue. And they talk about capacity building in the different sectors. He gave his commitment to Liberia that he will support Liberia in the regional cooperation so that we can work together as Africans. Africa is rich. We are rich in everything, but we have to coordinate and collaborate. Another thing, we are developing our 5-year strategic plan. It's a national strategic plan. So the national strategic plan, we are in all the different sectors because we want for this plan to not just be a document. So if you are from the health sector, you have a representative on the plan. If you are from agriculture, you have your focus person. If you are from information, you have your focus person. So that this document will be implemented based on what it gives us. So we have been working with the Liberian Intellectual Property Office and stakeholders to make sure that policies are into place to enable the agency to move forward. So again, We got in our, I'm not going to talk plenty because of time. We have to give other people the platform. I will come back. We have signed institutional agreements with university and research institutions. The Technology Support Innovative Center, we call it TACE, because we want for researchers to benefit from their research work. We don't want University of Liberia researchers just bringing up paper. In other countries, your research work should be able to give you products or services. Not just coming up with any topic. So we are working with the different institutions, so we make sure that we work together in collaboration with our bosses, the World Intellectual Property Organization. They have been very, very supportive as we speak. They are conducting a training to our campus yesterday and today among 30 researchers and teachers. They are there currently going through that training. And we this year we had the National Intellectual Property High School Competition, ran by NIBA. It were among 20 schools. You will imagine intellectual property now. You think you know intellectual property, go in the high school and see how the students are demonstrating intellectual property. Intellectual property is everybody's business. And we had a winner this year from Oman. And you know, I was in the country when they were carrying on the final. I was seated and I thought, once giving our youth, the young people, the opportunity, they can do more than we expect. So working with them, making sure that they be ambassador for intellectual property in the various schools, because not just in the school, in their home, they are teaching their parents, oh, this is trademark, this is copyright. So the IP now awareness is all over. And in order for our country, Liberia, to move forward, intellectual property will have to be everyone of our business. All the gadgets you have here is intellectual property. They are invented by others. We are buying them and then using them. We are capable of coming up with our innovation, our invention. You can invent. So we're working with all the young people to make sure that our country is on international path, and the country, to tell you the truth, Minister, for our country to move forward, intellectual property is one of the backbones. Because in all the different sectors, we are working with the traditional herbalists because they are doing a herbal medicine. So it's IP. Every sector is IP. So I want to say thank you. I will not take much of the time because we got our guest briefing by 2. I will entertain questions. I will come by again to make sure that we give you updates on our activities and moving forward. We are friends to, in fact, they are on our goal. Information is part of our goal. So we are just coming, borrowing, and making sure that we give updates to the Liberian people because we are appointed to serve. And once you're serving, you got to tell the people what you are doing so that they can have that cloud. We thought that this is this, like you said. Sometimes just go on our website, get the information from there, or come to the office, go to the various offices and ask. Instead of you saying, I think it's this. As a media practitioner, it's good most times to have that fight before posting. Because I want to see our platform, the social media platform, everybody running with news. It's intellectual property. I was just telling her, Kenya right now, the president just had a cable security because I think one of their statements that everybody was running. Yes. So we can do the same because everybody running with news. Yeah, he just signed the law. Yes. So our offices are open for inquiry, questions, and recommendations. We are open 24/7 from Monday to Friday. And the hotline is there. Once you call, we'll provide the information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome everybody. I'm glad to be back on this platform.
My name is Dr. Vanessa Collins Andrews.
Please pay attention.
I'm here in a different capacity. The health system encompasses services, training, and what have you today. I'm here in the capacity as a trainer in higher medical academia from the Liberia College of Physicians and Surgeons as the deputy head of secretariat. So this agency of government is the one that is responsible to train specialized doctors right here in the country. It has been happening over more than 10 years, and most of them very good. I'm here to deal with the head of the agency, Dr. Philderald, and this part will give you more information on what we'll be doing in the next few days. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, platform here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are very glad to be given the opportunity to utilize this platform to showcase the Liberia College of Physicians and Surgeons. I guess many of you may not have been aware that in Liberia we produced a number of professional doctors, specialists, and consultants in various areas of medical studies. I can recall before I went to the college as its Secretary General, I realized that the college was little known out there. So we felt that there's a need to inform the public that we do have the school training specialized doctors. And in the not too distant future, you will have absolutely no need to leave this country to go anywhere else to seek medical attention, because we're going to be producing all of the specialists that we need right in Liberia. This college was established in 2012, for your information, and since then we have gradually been training and have produced 143 specialists in 8 different faculties, including internal medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, general surgery, ophthalmology, psychiatry, family medicine, and we have just added 2 faculty on board. That's community health, and the community health was added is anesthesiology and radiology. So we now have 10 faculties. And as such, we are producing specialists from each of these areas right in the country, using our teaching hospitals as the training institutions. I think you heard the CFA bus talking about the issue of having Liberian taking over, because we do have a sustainability plan so that we would not perpetually have foreign doctors here teaching our residents. We want to ensure that in the not too distant future, in 3 to 5 years, we're going to have all Liberians taking over the faculty of our college. But interestingly, what I would like to just announce to you is that, yes, again, come October 23rd and 24th, we are going to be having our annual general and scientific meeting and convocation. This is a time of the year when the doctors get together and discuss technical and scientific issues, share knowledge, and then, of course, we do have the convocation that is to officially graduate those who have been in training. So the scientific session is going to be on Thursday, the 23rd of October at the Ellen Johnson Sully Ministerial Complex. follow next day, the 24th, for our convocation. During the convocation this year, we are going to be producing 12 specialists. 12. The various areas include 1 internist, 2 pediatricians, 4 family medicine specialists, 3 obstetrician and gynecologists, 1 psychiatrist, and 1 ophthalmologist. And we are also going to be producing some fellows. Now, those that I named earlier are members. So that the first 3 years of the postgraduate training is basically to acquire the membership. And if you go for an additional 2 years, you acquire the fellowship. And based on your experience and your exposure, at times you can apply for what we call fellowship by election, and based on the academic committees, you can be granted, and we also can offer honorary fellowships. So this commencement, we are going to be offering 10 fellowships by election. 4 will be in the area of community health, 3 in the area of obstetrics and gynecology, 1 in the area of pediatrics, 1 in the area of internal medicine. And finally, we want to have an honorary fellow who will be honored. He's a distinguished professor from the United States of America who has been here providing very valuable services in the area of surgery, and he has been doing so for many years. So we thought it wise to honor this distinguished gentleman by conferring an honorary fellowship upon him. So we just thank you for this information, and we hope that this is the beginning of that interaction where we can provide more information on the college. And any question you have referencing our program, please feel free to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this juncture, with your questions?
So that's it for the presentation. This is questions by journalists.
Thank you very much, Mr. Conrad, and thank you to the panelists and those who participated in the process. I think this is someone that I will put for Lena.
This question goes to the fellow from the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority, Dr. Goanue. Since we are talking about tariff, I did not hear you talk about the issue about PowerCon subcontracted by the Liberia Electricity Corporation. This is something that is causing harm, especially for those communities as it relates to Nuku Town, Doe Community, Clarendon, and the Jimmy Carroll area. What is the way forward about PowerCon and the LEC? Thank you.
So my name is Joseph Salif, and I report for ABC Radio. DG, you just informed us that the government of Liberia is current on the payment of employee salaries. Current on salary payment, yes. We received information that over 45 employees at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism is yet to receive their salary from since June. And information that we have gathered, we have received information that over 45 employees at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism have not taken pay since September, and they received 30% of their salary in September. September, 30% of the Liberian data. That's the question I'm getting at.
Have a quiet.
So can I go with the question? You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Minister? Yes. So my thing is...
Please have a quiet. Hello? Hello?
According to information that we have gathered, over 45 employees at the Ministry of Information have not taken paid since June. For the September salary, they received 30% of their September money, and since June, they have not taken June, July, August, September. In the September, they took 30%. They haven't getting the 70% of their salary. That's the question.
Okay.
My name is Gabriel Jr., and I do report for Answer Media Network. My question goes to the commissioner.
No commissioner here.
Electricity Regulatory Commission. In your capacity as an electricity regulatory body, how do you intend to cooperate with LEC to eliminate the usage of illegal electricity? Thank you.
Thank you. One question.
Thank you. My name is Mopolu, and I report for Inside Liberia. And my question goes to Malam Kogbe. So I admire your work whenever you tell Liberians that they should pay attention to register their property, intellectual property. But part of that, is a fund of getting money for government. But we're in a technological world where you see that a lot of talents are on the internet. Liberia is now monetized so that these people should get benefit. What extra thing that you're doing that these people will obtain something from their talent rather than just, registering so that the government can benefit? Thank you.
All right. I'm rational Joekai's fanboy. My concern goes to, all right, independent journalist. I work for the Liberia Forest Media Watch and the Rural Reporter News Network. My concern goes to that Goanue, Mr. Goanue. You talk about, though I didn't hear my county of resident right now, you call a few counties' name. I didn't hear you talk about plan to sustain the rural electrification project for the country. See that? I didn't hear sign of country.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Nguyen, and I report for Democracy Watch newspaper.
One question.
My concern goes to the Director General of the CSA. A few days ago, you reported on the CSA reform, talking about some statistical data. And I'm interested to ask this question on. Okay, that's a recent time, because I was reading on your website. I saw 6 days ago. So until the website done publish it, after which it was reported, I've got the website reflecting 6 days ago. So that brings me to the question on data integrity and consistency. The report shows that there has been a little bit of increment in terms of the annual wage bill of our country in the tune of 350 million. So I'm concerned to ask, how can you better explain why 2025 annual wage bill has increased to 315 million when your own figures are the reports indicating a monthly reduction of US 2.4 million after a payroll cleanup? And if you are the one who did the report, then who validated these new figures, and what independent audit process was carried out to authenticate the accuracy of the report? A slight inquiry to the most.
The source is on website.
Yes, your website.
Savings of
2.4 million. Yes, very quick. You can verify now. Okay. So, no, I just want to know why, on which auspices of government has. Oh, okay. the most.
Okay. My name is Renzi ST. We are in a report for the Liberia News Agency. My question will be directed to the intellectual property of us. The last time, a few months ago, Ministry of Commerce and LTA, they talk about having a meeting with Facebook to monitor Liberia, for Liberia to be part of the monetization process. Now, as a LIPO, you talk about or content creator benefiting from their products, and not everybody's supposed to work in government. And have you working in that direction, or were you part of the meeting that was held at that time for Liberia to be part of the monetization process? Thank you.
You got it, good DG? You got it, good?
Yeah, my name is Joseph Sad.
Jamil, place you somewhere, sir. Please, go ahead, sir.
My name is Joseph Sadi and I report for Lata FM and TV. Yes, Ali. To you, DG, CSA, you spoke about 300 Liberians taking advantage of the testing center. Yeah, more than 300, and you failed to give us numbers on how many of them has been given an opportunity in getting job. And secondly to that, B to that question is, my concern here is this: the MCSS teachers who, quote unquote, the last time were in violation of your own act, and up to now, concerning the WhatsApp chat messages and the discipline measure that was taken from you, the Ministry of Finance, and that of the MOE, we have not heard anything from that. Is this business as usual, or are you doing anything that covered up on that?
Good afternoon, Mr. Joekai. My name is Desmond Christopher, and I report for Inside Liberia. In your session, you may mention that there's no civil servant that is making less than $150 United States dollars. Predicated upon that, I want to know, how does the current minimum salary compare to the previous salary of civil servant in Liberia? Thank you.
The last question is the last.
Good afternoon. My name is O'Neill Phillips. I write for the New Liberian newspaper. My question goes to Director Joekai. Sometimes ago, the CSA conducted credential audits for employees across government, and we have our standardization. That audit was called Employee Standardization Credential Audit. The question is, what is the essence of that audit, especially in terms of standardization, when employees across government stay, for example, who are degree holders, say make at least like $150. What was the essence of that process?
Okay, so I will start with the last question, my dear brother. Sorry, I didn't get your name, but I thought that was a very good question. As a matter of fact, the government-wide personnel and credential audit is ongoing. We just concluded the judiciary. We did NCC. Just yesterday, we had a joint meeting with the University Administration, the President, and OFA, the University Faculty Association. We are moving to UL. We have done so many CDA, LACRA, and this thing is helping us to understand the workforce nature, the dynamics. There are people with falsified documents, unverifiable documents that are leaving the system. Some of them, before we even move that, they can leave. Some even ask for their files and extract and remove their credentials before we get there. So we are trying to make sure we don't have square pegs in round holes. And there are ghosts that we're still identifying on a weekly basis as we conduct the process. So it is very significant to reposition our workforce, making sure that we have the right people in the right places. That's what we do, and that's the significance of the eyes. You talk about aligning that with the salaries, which is important. I just told you what the government did in the 4 sectors, in health, education, agriculture, and security. It's not going to be across the government at once. We're taking this by segments. That's what we're doing. And then the $150, there were people who were paying less than that. I'm using this phone to kill 2 birds. My other brother who asked about the minimum, wage before we took over. There were people in the police as low as $99. Some you see, you want to see flat rates. Like 50 people, $99. I cannot build a good family. Everybody got beer. Everybody says $99, but we fixed that. Even with the police, we went and repositioned, and we're still working with them on another batch, the security sector. So we've been fixing this. So in short, what the civil service decided to do with support from the Ministry of Finance was to make sure that nobody falls below that 150. Now 100, we set the base. So it was far below that when we took over. So we have Joseph. Joseph, he asked about 45 people. I'm not going to address that. The Honorable Minister is going to address the 45 people who from June till now have not been paid. Because of my knowledge, that is not true. That is untrue. And you will hear details from your minister. I will not talk about that. You talk about the wage bill. Look, I told you this, and I explained. I don't know if you followed because you were here when I said it. We are bringing critical workers, essential workers on the payroll. When you add nurses, doctors, teachers, educationalists in their hundreds, in thousands on the payroll, who are needed to keep us safe, who are needed to keep us healthy, who are needed to keep us working to turn the machines of our governance system. Those are people we call essential workers. That is the difference between now, this government, and the previous. Because people stay at home, were on the payroll, who were receiving text messages and not working. We remove them, we are replacing them with those people, and we are increasing the number because we bring in volunteers on the payroll. It will definitely increase the number of workers. That will affect the wage bill. But it's being done wrongly like it was in the past, having shared bank accounts, 5 persons having one bank account number, all their salaries going to one person who took over. We remove it. It's the same as having fictitious names, organized crime, 150 people names on the payroll, one person taking salary. It's no longer that. We remove it. Right now, it's critical workers we are bringing on, and you can see the difference in the services provided by the government. So you have somebody talk about MCSS, and you are asking what is the cover of, what is business as usual. You know, you got a choice to use the choice of words, but I think when it comes to the MCSS, what is happening now has never happened before. There are two fronts. The new leadership and the CSA are working with the employees. Those who are in violation of the regulations of the civil service and the MCSS, there are actions that are being taken. There are salaries that are being blocked, pending investigation. And I said CSA is still at EJS Ministerial Complex. You can come there and get information. But it's happening. Investigation is now a one-day thing. We investigate people's salary, you don't just joke with it. Those are the actions we can take in the CSA. To recommend suspension of people who have violated certain regulations or statutes, we do it. The action is taken. Some suspended for 1 month without pay. That's limited. That's action. We have taken those. It's no business as usual, and there's no semblance. Nothing around you tells you that there's anything that resembles business as usual. No, everything is changing. We are on track. This government means business. Laws are respected. People are held accountable in this country. The CSA, in fact, is one of the pillars of accountability and transparency. I would say that. And so nobody comes there and does something against regulations and go free. To the best of my knowledge, I think those are all the questions. And if there's any outstanding, you can let me know. I will come back and address it. Honorable Minister, you want to talk about the people, the 45? Because we got to address that. I need to know what's happening to that.
I don't know how you got the 45. Yeah, I'm not as sure as you. So, you see, we have to be clear about one thing. If we want to be civil servants, let's be civil servants. If we want to be politicians, let's leave the job and become politicians.
Yeah.
It's good that DG is here. And I want to take this time in a special way to say thank you for reforming the civil service sector. You've done tremendously well. Because we know what we inherited. He made a pledge that he was going to reform the civil service, and that work is ongoing. This is the first time in many years that our civil servant salaries have been made current. It has not stayed behind for 2 months, for 3 months. This is unprecedented in the last 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. what I can say to that question that was asked by Sirleaf is straight. None of you here will believe that from June to now, that's 4 consecutive months, civil servants here have not received salary and no one has gone at mark. I don't think anyone will believe that. But here's the story. Because the Ministry of Finance has been going through a transitional process from one payroll system to another.
It taps the CSM.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he knows the platform that they're migrating from to a new one. There has been glitches as a result of that. So because of these glitches, in June, there was a select number of staff from the civil servants here, but not just restricted to here. Other ministries and agencies were also affected. Exactly. So as a result of that, there were individuals that did not get their salaries. I also am included. 1,000 of my salary was not given to me as of June. So please pay attention. In addition to me being a political appointee, the Deputy Minister for Culture and Tourism, Kadiatu, also did not receive a salary. So this was not a selective process. But for someone to say from June to now, that information is false, it's misleading, it's intended to undermine the reform process that Joekai has undertaken for this government. So let's get that clear. For September, there has been a reconciliation process at the ministry, between the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of Liberia.
Yes.
And because of that reconciliation, there are those who are from only two banks. UBA and Bloomberg. It's not even the full salary because the bulk of them got 30% of the salary, which is a Liberian dollars component. The US dollar component is the one that is outstanding. I spoke to Joekai a couple of days ago, and that reconciliation process should be concluded by now. So either today or tomorrow, those affected staff will receive the salary. So for somebody to jump up and say from June to now, that's 4 months, have not received their salary, and no protest, it's unheard of. So I just thought to make that clarification. And I want to acknowledge you journalists, when you hear anything about our staff here, my doors are open, just come and ask me, I'll give you clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I have 3 questions. The first question is about PowerCom. Please. PowerCom pilot project in Toho community and other places. Yeah, I can confirm that. We received notification from LEC as the regulator to look into it because it has some issues. And I took the issue to our board commissioner. The board set up an investigative team headed by our head of legal, licensing and public affairs. And they have looked into it. I think they just submitted their report to the board, I think yesterday or so. So we are aware and we are looking into that to see. But we've heard that anyway as far as we going back to the Ministry of Justice. But we as regulator, looking at regulatory implications, we have been very proactive and our team is there and our report has wanted to go for action. Now you're talking about capacity, what is our capacity to work with, to cooperate LEC on power tech, because it says on illegal use of power, right? That's power tech, right? That's a law. It's a power tech law now. All we can do is to work with LEC and sensitize the public that power tech is not good. It's the same as what we call stealing. So it's a felony according to the law. And when you are caught, you will be taken to court and prosecuted. And whatever the law says, that one you will be done. But we cannot do anything outside the law. Besides sensitizing the public and informing you about giving out anti-power tech messages around the country. So that all we can do. But there's a law. And I encourage you as journalists to go and read the law so you can also inform the public about that. That's stealing. Someone talk about the few candidates I think called Sando. Sando is far beyond the grade. And we are not operator, we are regulator. So I'll refer you to my brother Samuel Nambe at the Bureau and Renewable Energy Agency. They are doing a lot of work. They are putting solar in Greenville and building hydro on the Sun River around the SRC, which have been there. So please go right on Newport Street and talk to my brother Samuel Nangbe. I think you will get more for some content. Thank you.
So I think the two questions are almost the same. One is just asking whether I was part of the meeting I was heard with the LTA and Commerce. So to announce to you, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry is the co-chair for the Liberian Intellectual Property Office. So my boss was in the meeting, and then I was briefed. But the thing about the talent creator or benefiting is LTA has their role. Intellectual Property Office has a role to play. We are there for protection. LTA is there to monitor us. We will only achieve if we sign and ratify the treaties we mentioned. We are a member of the Berne Convention. When you come up with your work, it's automatic protection. So with that, working with the LTA, Facebook, YouTube, I think our government is doing so much to make sure that all of us benefit from what we do. That is not a joke. Because LTA coming out to even tell, I saw their press briefing the last time coming out to tell the public that they are working on it the very first time, and I can say that here. So it's welcoming, and we all should work with the different authorities. Come and protect your work, report it. It's voluntary protection under the Kampala Protocol. And the Kampala Protocol is the regional protocol. And that's why the Director General from the African Regional Intellectual Property came to tell us that it's important for us to ratify the protocol. Because you will not be seeking benefits like you are part of a club, but you are not paying your due. You are not a full member. In fact, when you are not ratified a protocol, when you go in some of these meetings, you can see your flag in front of you. Most times they don't even give you the opportunity to talk because you are not a full member. So we're only achieve, we're only get content benefits when we firstly go to the IP office and report our works. And then LTA is working to make sure that the monetization works on with Facebook, YouTube, and the different platforms. To answer the two questions, my boss was there. She briefed, we had an SMT meeting, and we discussed it. So, talent, content creator, very, very soon, you're coming to be rich people around here. Thank you.
That question? Okay. Okay, so. let me say thanks to Joseph Sally for always asking controversial questions. I want you to be clear on the question because the question you asked, there are some of our friends who are already decided to misrepresent on the radio. So when you're asking the question, they want to be clear as to the length of time that people are claiming not to have been paid for. And good thing is the CSA boss is here, and our Deputy Minister for Administration, Mr. Takba, who is also the IT Minister, eloquently and brilliantly answered that question. So for those who are listening, they now know that there are people who, instead of focusing on national development, a civil servant will be politician. It is wrong. You indict the entire government, and you want to give people who are career opposition, who are caged in the dark chamber of cynicism and believe that nothing good is happening to the country. So you give them a talking point. Or they say the current salary will post it, they pay for 5 months here. So Mr. DMB, thank you for answering that question. Now, there are towns of civil servant, listen to DG, between 73,000
Yes, right.
gross.
So if one or two persons, because of system fault, did not receive the salary or half of the salary for a particular month, it doesn't mean that civil servant are not being paid. So if you want to say the truth, just say the truth. Do not be economical with the truth. And, you want to say the truth, but in managing it, you want to say the whole truth. It's wrong. Because even officials of government appointed, even the GMA was affected.
It's affected by that.
Does it mean that government is not covering salary? No. Let me say thanks to all of our guests. It's been a long day. We'll continue to endeavor to bring the Liberian people real-time information on this platform. We are in the process of communicating with every line ministries and agencies. As we conclude the year 2025, please supply us with milestone accomplishments so that we can have the information to be able to effectively communicate on behalf of the government of Liberia. I'm told the MICAT reporters here, the journalists here are going for election tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jimmy, you got to work with them? Please have it quiet.
We allow them to use the space. We allow them to use the space, but they use it responsibly. You comes with what? Bring equity. You comes with equity, brings clean hands, right? Yeah, so you always ask your questions about government being fair, honest, and everything. So we urge you and we admonish you to come tomorrow, go through your process in an honest and balanced fashion. The platform is yours, just do your thing.
Who are the two candidates? No, I just want to acknowledge them also to accept the results.
Yeah, but you don't need to see them now. You don't need to see them.
Accept the result.
Don't influence the process.
You want to accept the outcome of the result. Thank you very much for your service to the country. Thank you for everything you do to help us in communicating with people. Thank you very much.
So that's it for the press briefing here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So today MICAT Press Briefing was addressed by Honorable Daniel Otesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Honorable Josiah Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency, CSA. CSA, Honorable Augustus Managing Director, Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority, Honorable Goanue, Director General, Liberia Intellectual Property Copyright Office, and Dr. Philderald Pratt, Secretary General, and Dr. Benito S. Andrew, Assistant Secretary General of Liberia College of Physicists and Surgeons, respectively. So until then, do join us next Tuesday for another edition of Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism Press Briefing. I am Asiame Kone. Until then, bye from my end.